Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of 12 on Health. Listen to the radio and you'll hear lots of ads for all sorts of herbal remedies, making all sorts of promises. And while taking care of what ails you naturally may be a good way to go, doctors and pharmacists say you should do your homework before entering the herbs and supplements arena. One pharmacist in particular has been studying what works and what's a big waste of your money. The author of this book, 4 Pillars of Health, Heart Disease, is known nationwide as the Herbal Pharmacist. This is his latest book on heart disease. David Foreman is here to show us and tell us what herbs have proven to help your heart and other aspects of your health.
Exactly.
And I love that you're going to talk weight loss too, but let's talk heart first,
okay.
Because the book covers it so extensively. You've got a couple of herbal supplements. Tell us about
These
them.
would be considered what I call foundational supplements for people that have either a family history of heart disease, concern, or they already have it.
Okay.
And I'm leading off with the first bottle is an ingredient called citronal. So if you go to your health food store, ask for citronal. A lot of studies on citronal showing where it helps lower the bad cholesterol levels and raise the good cholesterol levels. Plus, it's a really good antioxidant, which is important for cardiovascular health as well. And
Scavenge up those free radicals.
Considering statin drugs are the #1 category of drugs sold, and those are for cholesterol, this is a in my opinion, much healthier alternative to achieving healthy cholesterol levels without the side effects that go along with it.
I'm glad you brought up statins and other drugs because is it true that natural remedies can wreak havoc with drugs? You really need to talk to your doc?
Oh, there's no doubt. You always have to communicate with your healthcare provider, let them know what supplements, because oftentimes people will make their own, we call them cocktails of supplements and not realizing that there is a potential for interaction with their drugs. Most of the things I brought today, I'm unfamiliar with really any known interactions, but it's always a good idea to double check with your doctor.
And I know on your radio show, and you podcast it, so it's on your website, you cover what works, what doesn't, what the experience has been with each supplement.
Yeah, I think I add a different level of credibility because I don't sell anything. I tell people I'm an educator and I use all forms of media to do that. So you can podcast live articles as well.
I love that he's not selling any of the products you see here. No. It is a nice relief. And I understand, people have to make a living, but you're not making a living being paid by any of these.
No, I'm not the pitch man.
Matter
of fact, I'm repulsed by the idea. So.
All right.
No,
that's another program, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get into the
Let's
psychology.
Go there, exactly.
But talk to me about weight loss supplements and what you recommend.
Well, I brought 3 examples today. The first one is probably the biggest. The ingredient, I don't think it's real prevalent.
Carb Intercept?
Yeah, well, that's the name of this product, but there's an ingredient in Carb Intercept that's called Phase 2, PHASE, and then the number 2. So if you go to your health food store, you want to look for that ingredient. This brand actually has it in, plus a few other ingredients that might help with weight loss. The key thing about Phase 2 is that it actually will help your body block the breakdown of starches into sugar. And if you can halt that progression of breaking starches, like we're talking carbs, and so the breads and pastas and bagels and rice and potatoes, the things that most Americans live on, this will block up to 65% of the calorie effect of those starchy foods if you take it right before or during the meal that contains those starches.
So you take it right before or during, and what happens is your body just won't absorb them?
Your body will not break down the starch into sugar because your body won't absorb starch. It has to be broken down into smaller molecules, which in this case will be sugar. Your body then absorbs the sugar from your bloodstream and either makes energy out of it, or for a lot of Americans nowadays makes fat.
Yeah,
and of course, being overweight is a major contributing risk factor to why people are having issues with heart disease. And of course, obesity is, now over a third of Americans are considered obese. So this is a big subject.
Big subject. Now here's another product. This one got me very interested because you say this is very effective.
Yeah, this is kind of cool, and it's funny. It's like brewer's yeast. Exactly. Most people get a little bit freaked out by anything that says yeast, but this is a healthy yeast. It's actually called nutritional yeast by people in the natural health field. And what you do is you'd sprinkle that onto your food. It has a sort of a nutty flavor, so it's not repulsive. It doesn't have a bad mouth feel to it or anything like that. You could put it in yogurt. You could put it on your oatmeal in the morning, whatever you prefer. And this is a very high in B complex, so you get extra energy, but it's also very high naturally in chromium, and chromium is one of those things that really helps, one, balance your blood sugar so you don't have cravings, but it also helps burn fat.
Is this in any way similar to wheat germ?
No, it's not. Yeah, no.
Do you recommend wheat germ?
Wheat germ is another excellent thing because it's another complex carbohydrate. So carbs aren't bad. It's where your carbs come from. Earlier I was talking about starches. Those are the things that we they're already processed to heck by man. But the complex carbs from grains, like in this case wheat germ, excellent thing to add in. Give you that full feeling, so you're not as hungry. Plus, it will give you a little bit longer sustained energy levels.
So in the morning, if you're having, say, oatmeal, throw some of this on, throw some wheat germ. What about flaxseed?
You're healthier than you know what to do. Flax seeds are great. Actually, I prefer a new seed called Chia, C-H-I-A. Chia is high in complex carbohydrates, high in protein. It's the highest source of omega-3s in the plant world, so it's even better than flaxseed in my opinion. It also has 5 times the amount of calcium than dairy. So all those people that have bone health concerns, you want to get your calcium from a food source. And chia, you can just use a 1 tablespoon a day. And again, no flavor. It's just crunchy. At my house, we put them on salads. You could put it in oatmeal after you're done cooking it. I make brown rice once in a while. Sprinkle it on the brown rice when we're going to the table with it.
Nice.
If you don't like the crunchy, literally no flavor, but if you don't like the crunchy, it absorbs water so quick that you can use it as a gel if you want to.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Good to know. And these can all be purchased in a health food store.
Health food, sometimes even grocery.
Store.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like citronal I've seen in pharmacies. Omega-3s you can find in pharmacies. Phase 2 I've seen in pharmacies as well. I've got an ingredient here called Carnipure. It's a carnitine. That's sort of a 2-for-1 special. It helps with weight loss, but it also is one of those heart-healthy supplements. So you sort of get a 2-for-1.
Why is that?
Well, it's funny. The mechanism of how Carnipure works is it takes the fats from your bloodstream and carries them into the cell. Without it, your body can't do that. So it takes the fat out of your bloodstream, takes it into your cell, and then your cell burns it for energy. So it's kind of cool. I jokingly say this is energy without a buzz.
Wow.
I mean, you're not going to feel nervous or jittery like you just hit up a Starbucks or Dunkin' Donut or whatever. Exactly. It just... and it supports your cardiovascular system because it works specifically with the muscle tissue, the cells that make up muscle tissue.
Interesting. Now, you're a big proponent of tea, specific teas, and I know you have some with you.
Yeah, this is my stash out of my backpack from travel. This is green tea, and green tea has a lot of health benefits. I always say if I was going to be trapped somewhere and I was allowed to take 5 herbs, this would probably be one of the first 2 or 3 out of my mouth that I'd want to take with me. Because not only is it good for heart health, it's great for weight loss. It's great for the immune system. It's one of those, I don't want to call it a cure-all, but it's definitely a cover-all, I guess you could say.
Does it have antioxidants?
Yeah, that's actually the main effect on the immune system is it's high in antioxidants. But for people that want to lose weight, it curbs your appetite, and it's also known to help with fat loss. It's great for lowering cholesterol, and even can help people with blood pressure concerns.
Is it naturally caffeinated?
Yeah, that's actually the way I recommend buying it. The key to brewing, I'm going to put this down if it's okay. Yeah.
You don't have to hold those all day.
The key to green tea is not to brew it too long. So when you put your hot water on the tea, whether it's tea leaves or in a tea bag like this, you want to let the water sit on the leaves for no more than 3 minutes. Okay. 2 is ideal, 3, and a lot of people leave them in there because the water doesn't really change color. It's not really supposed to get that much different in color. But the longer you brew it, you start drawing out the caffeine, and then it becomes more of a hazard for people that do have high blood pressure concerns.
Okay, you don't want such a high concentration
of caffeine. That, and it tastes like
caffeine.
garbage. It gets really bitter and nasty tasting. So 2 to 3 minutes, I literally take my iPhone and I will set the timer on it. I look kind of weird when I'm in Starbucks doing that, but I set the timer to whatever. Hey, but I'm healthy. I practice what I preach.
I love it. Now, if you don't have time to grab a cup of tea, you're saying you could go with a supplement?
Yeah, this is actually one I travel with as well. The ingredient's called Vigo. It's a standardized green tea, but some people don't dig the idea of drinking green tea, although I think it's kind of crazy. You've got to drink something throughout the day. Why not make it a healthy beverage? But this would be the alternative. Again, you're looking at a minimum of 3 servings of green tea every day to help with heart health concerns, or if you're looking for weight loss, you might even need to consume up to maybe 5 servings of green tea every day to get the desired effect.
Where do you stand on some of these other supplements? For example, the one that's getting a lot of airtime on the radio, and that is the supplement that supposedly works like Viagra.
Yeah, there's a sucker born every day, and I'm not a big. There is nothing that works like a drug, and for them to make a comparison to a drug is actually against the law. I always have a big hang up with companies that make drug comparisons because that's a blatant violation of our own FDA.
It sounds like you'd like more regulation with supplements.
Well, there is regulation, they just don't have enough regulators. That's the problem. So there's not enough people working for the FDA or the FTC. Because the FTC gets involved because people make these outrageous claims that aren't even substantiated by any science, and that's misrepresentation of your product. And
I know that makes you angry.
Yeah, well, it's funny
fired.
because when I see those, I call them snake oil salesmen. It makes me look bad because I'm out here trying to tell people there are some really awesome things you can do for your health that work. You know, like omega-3s from fish oil. You know, I remember a couple of years back there were people making these outrageous claims about fish oil, and you can't do that. You have to do what the science backs up. And I think that's where my pharmacy degree sort of comes in handy, as I've learned how to look at research. I mean, research to me is not a trial done on rats. Because you and I do not look anything like a rat.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure.
I get you. I know you do a lot of research, and a lot of your findings are on your website, the Herbal Pharmacist David Foreman. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really helpful information. In just a moment on 12 on Health, what you can do to breathe new life into your fitness goals. I know, it ain't easy. You're watching 12 on Health, your local source for the very latest medical news.